multiple scenes, real animals were killed on camera, not with special effects, but with actual brutality. Perhaps the most infamous example is the scene where a giant turtle is killed by the characters in a lengthy, graphic, and disturbing scene. Crew members later admitted that filming the scene was deeply uncomfortable for everybody involved, but the director insisted it was necessary to create a sense of raw authenticity. But it wasn't just the animals, even the actors were subjected to extreme conditions for the sake of realism. In one scene, a woman's body is impaled on a wooden stake, creating one of the film's most iconic images. While it was a special effect, the setup was so convincing that it left audiences horrified. The actress had to sit on a bicycle seat hidden behind her with a piece of wood in her mouth to make it look like it was piercing through her entire body. Then, the unthinkable happened. Authorities in Italy, where the film premiered, launched an investigation. The violence and cannibal holocaust looked so real that they suspected Deodato had orchestrated actual murders. The media exploded with rumors that the movie was a snuff film. The reason why I told you the detail of the actress sitting on the bicycle seat is because Deodato had to show how that stunt was done in court, as it just looked so convincing on screen to both the police and general audiences. In hindsight, one of the most funny moments of the trial was when the director had to bring his actors into the courtroom alive and well to prove they hadn't actually been killed. After its release, over 50 countries outright banned the film, making it one of the most controversial in history. When the Twilight Zone film was announced in the early 1980s, it promised to be a groundbreaking project. It was a chance to bring one of the most iconic, imaginative television programs to the big screen. Fans of the original show, which explored eerie, thought-provoking, and sometimes downright terrifying stories, were thrilled. John Landis, hired on to be a director, was also extremely excited. With the Twilight Zone film, Landis wanted to prove that he could do something even bigger and bolder, as he was making something unforgettable, though certainly not in the way he thought he would. Landis was given the chance to direct one of the film's 4 segments, titled Time Out. This segment told the story of Bill Connor, a bitter and racist man who, after a drunken tirade in a bar, finds himself trapped in a nightmarish series of time jumps. Each jump places him in the shoes of someone who has experienced the oppression he so casually dismissed. First, he's a Jewish man fleeing from the Germans during World War II. Then he's a black man about to be lynched by the Ku Klux Klan in the American South. And then finally, he's a Vietnamese man hunted by US soldiers during the Vietnam War. The story was meant to show Bill the pain and fear his own racism had caused others in history. For the climax of the segment, Landis envisioned a dramatic redemption arc. Bill would rescue 2 Vietnamese children from a war-torn village, risking his life to save them as explosions and gunfire erupted around them. The scene was meant to show Bill's transformation, a man who had learned the value of compassion through the horrors he had endured. But this ambitious sequence required a level of complexity rarely attempted at the time. It involved massive pyrotechnics, a helicopter hovering dangerously close to the action, and most controversially, 2 child actors playing the roles of the Vietnamese children. Landis's vision was bold, but his approach to achieving it would prove dangerously reckless. On the 23rd of July, 1982, the pyrotechnics were ready, the helicopter was in position, and the actors were in place. The 2 child actors, Mika Din Lei, who was 7, and Renee Shin Yi Chen, who was 6, were hired despite numerous violations of California child labor laws. Not only were they working outside of legally permitted hours, but there were no permits to authorize their involvement in a scene involving explosives and helicopters. These decisions were made under the radar, with Landis and the production team disregarding the legal requirements to avoid any delays. When filming began, actor Vic Morrow, who's playing Bill in the film, hoisted the children in his arms and waded into the water as instructed. The helicopter, piloted by a seasoned Vietnam War veteran, hovered about 25 feet above them. Landis had insisted that the helicopter fly lower so that he could get the perfect
The Illuminate have returned, but their autocratic intentions remain shrouded in mystery. We destroyed the Illuminate once. Now, we will do it again.